Where is everybody?
Oh, they're in the waiting room here. I'm getting ready to, I think I hit the live stream button a little quick. So we're going to start live streaming right now. So everyone on
Where is everybody?
Best behavior.
They're in the waiting room here.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to, I think I hit the live stream button a little. Okay, there we go. Sorry guys, we're set up, we're live streaming. Ryan, it looks like, is coming back in, and we'll get started in just a moment. There's a quorum here as well. So okay, Ryan, do you want to call the meeting to order? Can you guys hear me? Ryan?
Yep.
Ryan, Mr. Chase, Mr. Chair. Let me text him. Oh, he's coming back in.
Fuck. Ryan.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I couldn't get on my computer to watch it.
Okay, we can hear you on here.
Okay, you guys can hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so you can go ahead and start whenever, or call the meeting order whenever you're ready.
My computer is not getting volume, so I apologize for that in advance. Call the meeting to order. It's 9:07. Thank you all for being here. I guess we'll first start off with any public comment. Does anyone have any public comment? And Ryan, I can't see anyone else, so again, if please help with security, if that makes sense.
Sure. And so if the public is watching on YouTube and has comments, you can put your public comment into the comment box on YouTube, and it will be read into the meeting. So we can give a few seconds here for that, and then if something comes in a little bit late, we can go ahead and read that back. But it's important that any public comment get entered before the item that it pertains to occurs. So make sure and get those public comments in if you have them.
Ryan, can I make a public comment?
Of course you can.
Okay, I just wanted to mention, I know Santa Ana Business Council, and I know I've had sent an email to all of you, but I just wanted to find out if there's any possible way we can have a meeting, maybe with PD, about the specific issues that Yvonne was discussing a little while ago, which has to do with the public safety in downtown. There is a different energy that's building up again in downtown around, I don't know if it's what I've heard a lot of different things, and I've also recognized that there's been a lot of fights. We also have had some deaths that have occurred in downtown, and we have some violence that's occurring in downtown. And I know that they're all different kinds of things, but we don't have security right now because it was cut. So we need to figure out a strategy maybe with the restaurant associations to make sure all of them have their own security, and also maybe something where we can find out about the timeline for the PD, because we do know that like this is happening and we've seen this before. So we know what can happen in downtown.
So Madeline, thank you for your comments. This is Ryan speaking. There's no question there's some security issues that are obviously becoming bigger issues, and without having security funding, it's been obviously very problematic. I'm going to address this further in the clean and safe report, but again, it's a priority, obviously, and without a clean and safe downtown, you have nothing. So unless anyone else has anything to add in particular right this second on that, or public comment, we'll address that in the clean and safe report, unless there's more to the story or something else you want to add. Anything else to add at this moment, Madeline?
No, that's everything. I wanted to make sure both of our boards could meet with PD together. And that's my request. So we can start figuring out.
I think that's a great idea. And absolutely. Again, I'll share some further information as well when we get into the Clean and Safe report. Any other public comment? Okay, if Ryan, if anything else comes through, please advise. Otherwise, let's review the minutes from last week. If everyone can please take a look at the minutes. Basically, the biggest thing was we approved the Boca de Oro events, and then we're going to approved about positions, executive board positions, which we'll be addressing today. So if anyone has any questions, please advise. If not, can I get a first and a second, please?
First. I'll do first.
Do second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, with that, we'll get to the Clean and Safe report. So I'll share a few things first, and then I think, Jose probably has some things to share, and then I don't know if Julie has some things to share. I don't know if our police contact is on here, but we'll start with there's no question that, again, security has been a problem as downtown starts to reopen. We're having a lot of challenges with break-ins, with fights, with some other issues, obviously. We've applied, we sent a letter to the city council last week, or actually, early this week, requesting funding from this federal funds they got to help secure our parking revenue gap, provide additional security and everything else. I personally reached out to the mayor yesterday. I also reached out to several of the council members, and I've also spoken to the city manager, expressing our concerns. I mean, let's just say that I don't want to get into too much detail, but the point is they're aware of the situation. I've been told that they're going to do what they can to try to help rectify this. So I don't have any update per se or any aha moment of how we're going to get this better or resolved, but I do think the ball is rolling positively. All I can ask all of you is please advocate to your city council members. Please, all of you, all of us. We need to make sure they understand the problem. And I hate to say this, but the more voices that they hear and the more people bothering them, frankly, the more they're going to listen and do something about it. And, if it's just me or just two of us or three of us, it doesn't really get as much impact as if all of you call them, all of you send them emails, all of your constituents call them, all your friends call them. We need to make sure they understand how critical of an issue this really is. Because again, ultimately, without a safe downtown, we have nothing. And last thing we need to do is have further issues continue to arise and frankly, damage downtown's reputation and downtown's ability to come back over the coming months as we get out of COVID. So again, from my perspective, this is priority number one. Again, I've been communicating to the higher ups at the city, but I think we all need to, as a team, work together to help continue to push that. So I don't know if before we get into public comment from our board, if Jose has anything to add on the Clean and Safe front, or Julie has anything to add on the Clean and Safe front, and then from there we can again open it up to the board for any further feedback. Jose, do you want to start? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, you basically gave a summary of what's going on here in downtown Santa Ana. I received many calls from members of the community asking for security guard services, asking for additional police services. There's been a lot of issues solved in people. It's happening almost weekly or several times a week. Break-ins in the parking structures. Just yesterday, a vehicle was broken into at the 5th and Spurgeon parking structure. I mean, this is happening constantly. What I tell people when they contact me is say, look, you need to contact the city elected officials. First of all, you need to contact the PD to file a police report, because the PD needs to know what's going on. If you don't report a crime, then the PD will say, hey, everything is fine in downtown, and they don't assist us with any additional resources. But also, I've been telling everybody, hey, contact the elected officials, because they are the ones that can help us by adding funding to our program so that we can have additional services here. We no longer have security guards, and there's so much that a security guard can do. However, they're very helpful, especially in the mornings, especially clear out downtown with homeless people
I can't see
who
you.
are sleeping or sitting in front of businesses. and but also we need additional police officers. I know the downtown unit is going through some transition, and Robert Valdez is retiring, or he already retired, so he's no longer in downtown. And I know there's a new commander, and right now we have 2 police officers, Manny Delgadillo and Jose Castellanos. I hope that in the near future we'll go back to the 4 officers that we had. We definitely need help. So just like Ryan said, we need to encourage everybody to contact the elected officials, because basically they will be the only ones that can make the decision whether we get additional funds to hire security services and or have additional police officers here in downtown.
Thank you, Jose. Julie, do you have anything to add to that? Clean, safe wise?
Yes, I do. Thank you for being patient with me. So I have been working with PD also in conjunction with Jose Romo. And so we did receive a little bit of a training where the parking meter technicians, Clean and Safe, and I will be doing kind of observations, reporting and observing and reporting in the mornings, because we don't have a security guard in the morning and then throughout the day. And so the training was basically, as you observe different behavior or different activities that, you know, should be reported, then we call non-urgent PD. If the patrol officers for downtown are here, then we'll contact like Joe or John Kaczariski and such. Aside from that, with regard to the nighttime activity, that's a pretty significant concern to the city. And so in working with the commander and the new corporal, we're going to be looking at a security guard training program for the lead security guards and such, so that they can maybe enhance with the walkie-talkies, know who the sergeants are, know who the policemen are, and identify some sort of protocol and system for the nightlife activity. We also have to work with the restaurant owners. I've been getting some feedback and suggestions from folks like Oscar and JJ and Alvin on how to improve security measures, not just with their security officers, but with PD. So we're working on that, or PD is working on that. But, you know, it's pent up energy. People are coming out in a lot higher numbers. We have the streets closed and we have parklets. And so the activity isn't just inside of businesses, it's outside on sidewalks and on streets. And so definitely it's a big concern, and PD is definitely working on addressing it. And there's more to follow soon. By the way, John or Papa Joe, one of them is going to be joining very soon, this meeting. That's it for me, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate it. Does anyone else have anything to add under the clean and safe? Again, we obviously understand this is a huge issue, and I don't want to get into the back and forth of a specific incident or whatever else. But again, if you can please advocate to your council members, and if there's anything else to add that we're missing, or anyone has any further suggestions, please advise right now. Or again, you can always email us as well.
I would just like to add that when you do reach out to your city council members, that you also advocate for porta potties and restrooms, because without any plan, we've got nothing, and people are just, you know, pooping and peeing in the streets.
No question. Absolutely.
Ryan, can I also add one little thing? I really think that we should look at painting the inside of the bottom of the garages white and putting lights through the garages. I don't know what the cost of that is, but I think we should get an estimate, because a lot of the things that I've been hearing are actually happening in the garage themselves. Cool. And I think lighting would help.
Thank you for that, Madeline. There's no question. One thing I've asked for from the council and from the city manager is to get back to staffing 1 guard per garage full time. I think if we have a guard in each garage full time, it'll mitigate a lot of these issues. And it seems like you said, a lot of these issues are starting in the garages or happening in the garages. So we're on the same page. That's a huge issue, and I think would help. And yes, I think lighting and obviously a lot of other things will help as well. And, you know, I think as the budget gets better over time, those are things we can definitely look at. But yes, that's a good idea.
How about and maybe it's too late in the evening for it, but didn't you have a neighborhood watch before? I thought we had a neighborhood watch where people were wandering around and reporting instances. There wasn't one? I thought we had that.
Not that I'm aware of, but I don't know the answer to that.
Is that something any of the residents?
Can I comment on that?
Sure.
There, PD does have a formalized neighborhood watch, and there's training and there's a system for that. And people like Yvonne or Kusoli or any of the residents that live here in the downtown can obtain information for neighborhood watch, but that's not, the neighborhood watch isn't programmed for residents, regular residents, to go around and try to confront or get involved. That's not what neighborhood watch is made out to be, because we want to make sure that these folks are careful and that they don't get hurt. And then with regard to the security guards in the parking structures, I do want to let you know that we are in the middle of an RFP for the security for the parking operators, and the RFP included one security guard per parking structure. Now it's a very clear thing. Security guards have a cost, and they're about, $50,000 to $60,000 a security guard. So this is something that we'll have to address, and as revenue increases, having security guards is an absolute priority, and that'll impact, how the money goes back out into the downtown. So I just wanted to make sure that we're clear. And then with regard to painting the garage, I've heard that before. It's definitely on the to-do list. I want to say that 4 or 5 years ago, they did get an estimate, and it was about $500,000 to paint the garages. So just FYI.
Thank you, Julie. I understand Officer Joe is now, Castellanos is now on the call. So if we have a quick second, Officer Castellanos, do you mind just sharing anything you're going through safety-wise downtown, anything you can share with us?
Yes, I'm trying to log in here. You hear me?
We can hear you. We don't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm just driving back into the station. So yes, I was logged in kind of late. But anyways, just a comment on the what do you call that? Community
Neighborhood watch.
Yes, community watch. Okay, if somebody's interested, please send me the information. I'll be glad to get one of our reps to go out there and have a meeting with you guys, and they can set you all up for that. But I agree that that is only for the community. I know you guys were talking about the garages, the parking structure, I take it, and that is going to be definitely different. However, they can report any kind of suspicious activity to us, which then we will respond to it.
Thank you, sir.
And if anybody have any questions, please let me know.
Just in general, is there anything else to be aware of? We should be aware of, or just anything to share with us, or not really?
This is Oscar from El Indio. I just want to add the fact that the activity has been very, very heightened for everyone. I was just talking to JJ a couple of days ago, and he was literally telling me, like, look, man, like, I've never had any fights in, like, at Chapter 1, like I have in the last few weeks. It's just been ridiculous. Mind my baby in the back. And also, I've been noticing a big uptick of just people coming from out of town, because I know my regulars, and a lot of people that have been coming are not regulars. So it's kind of difficult to, I think every business has been adapting on a day-to-day basis. Like, I've had to ramp up my security, when before it just used to be 2 guys, and like we would just basically occasionally have to kick out just someone that was just, that just got drunk a little too fast. And I mean, now it's like, hey, like, there could be a dumb, like, shoving and pushing or a fight break out out of nowhere from people that we've never even seen in our life. So I mean, it's just like the restaurants ourselves, like, we are adapting, and we're not just kind of like letting that fly by, because the last thing we'd want to do is just something really, really bad for downtown in our hands. That would be, a shared kind of responsibility by all of us, but like, that's the last thing we want. So, I mean, we're actively trying to, better this situation. But yeah, I mean, I love working and talking to PD, like Madeline was suggesting. And I think there's probably some strategies we can develop to kind of, right away isolate incidences and just, put the fire out before it gets any worse than it needs to.
No question. Again, we're all in this together, and ultimately we got to try to do the best we can, as a team to improve the safety. And again, I think, like you said, you have a responsibility yourself not only for your own restaurant, but in your place, but also for the downtown as a whole. So appreciate that and couldn't agree more. Does anyone else have anything on clean and safe? We have a lot of other stuff to go over today, especially some action items. So I'm going to move on unless there's anything else clean and safe to report.
Just really quick. Hey, Joe, I want to ask you if you could share with the board your schedule and Manny's schedule and or whoever here is for downtown, so that we know what days and time you guys are here.
Okay, but our schedule is set right now from 9 till 7:30, and my schedule is from Wednesday to Saturday, and Manny's is from Sunday to Wednesday. Keep in mind though that we have been adjusting due to the problem with the homeless issue. I last week came in a couple of times early to be able to clear up some of the homeless from camping out on the patio areas that are set up throughout the downtown right now. So as we see fit to trying to help out, like even the parking structures, people are in the parking structures overnight. So when we have issues, we adjust to be able to come in and handle those issues.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Another quick question on or comment on the locations where they're serving alcohol. They say that maybe they have too much to drink or something like that. There are some, I know they have tips and also ABC that can come and help out, educate some of the waitresses to see some of the things to look for. There might be, they could lead to problems like, being too drunk, serving the intoxicated, people that might start having some issues like fighting or arguing or something like that. Those things need to be, fixed right away. We increased the PD numbers right now on things Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We do have, I believe there's 4 or 6 on those weekends now. So we have more officers there, but again, if we can prevent some of this stuff, it'll be great. If not, we'll respond, but definitely give us a call.
Well, thank you guys again for your service. We really appreciate it. We know it's tough out. Thank you again. With that, unless there's any other feedback on clean and safe, we're going to go on to the financial report. Jose, please.
Yes, I'll be brief. Ryan, can you show? There you go. This is our expense report year to date. Last meeting, we were all informed that our budget was reduced from. We no longer have merchants fund, and also our bid budget was cut from 100 grand to 70 grand. Of course, that depends on the business license renewal. So it's not really a set amount. However, the last few years it's been around 100 grand. The city is projecting or was projecting about $70,000 for year 2021. However, we already received $58,000 of the projected 70,000. So it looks like we're going to be receiving close to 100 grand, or maybe even a little over 100 grand. The line items that you see in front of you are the line items that were submitted to the city council and were approved by the city council. Of course, we can always request for some changes on the lower amount. There are a few line items that, of course, you don't see any expenses yet. There are a few line items that are reaching the max, but of course, we can always request that the amounts be shifted. And going back to the amount that most likely we'll be receiving, it looks like we're receiving close to 100 grand based on what we have received so far. Again, we're supposed to receive 70 grand. We're already at $58,000. If anybody has any questions about a specific expenses, you can always contact Ryan Smoller or myself. If you have any questions, just let us know. Oh,
thank you.
To be specific, a couple of things I forgot. The OCT expenses are not included in this expense report because it is aside from our bid expenses. For that as expenses, Ryan Smoller will be giving a presentation during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. I appreciate that. Julie, city report.
Okay, there we go. For the city report, just same as what I've reported in the past, that special events are are being considered by PD, Bill McGovern. He's the one that processes the special event applications. We're encouraging folks to start submitting those applications. We're still waiting on direction from the governor's office to confirm that June 15th will allow cities and people go back to normal business, which includes special events. So we have been receiving some applications. We encourage folks to start submitting applications. June 15th is like the magic date that we're banking on. Along those lines, I also want to encourage you guys to submit film permits. Parks and Recreation oversees the film permits. If there's any times that you guys are going to film anything at all here in the downtown, we encourage everybody to submit those film permits. And one more thing, business license fees have been getting paid, which translates to the Business Improvement District, to your organization, Ryan. So it's good that businesses are still going, thank goodness. And that means that they're paying their bid fees, and hopefully that continues and you guys can accomplish the $100,000 that you normally receive each year. And that's it for me, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it.
And I wanted to double check, is Teresa, did she make it on? I know she was having trouble logging in.
Julie, before that,
I'm here, Julie.
Could you
Okay,
also
thank you,
report on the 1 hour parking? Because I think that change occurred in this period.
Yes, thank you so much, Downtown Inc., for providing your letter of support. With the change for the grace period and the parking structures, it went from 2 hours free parking to 1 hour grace period. And, that one was basically a numbers situation. The 2 hours free grace period coupled with the COVID pandemic really put a deficit into the parking revenue of over $500,000. Obviously that had a lot to do with COVID, but with the 1 hour grace period, we're seeing a positive trend with parking revenue. What we're basically seeing is that people aren't circulating outside of the structure every 2 hours to get free parking over and over. They're parking for the 1 hour for free and then paying the $1.50 per hour thereafter. We're also seeing an increase in monthly parking passes because government entities and more businesses are coming back to work at their offices in the downtown. That's a positive thing. And we're also starting to implement some of the prepay at some of the parking garages during weekends in the evenings, beginning at 8 o'clock at night. The reason for that is because when people exit, there's a bottleneck in traffic congestion at like 1 or 2 in the morning that causes frustration. So it's been a little bit more effective to charge upfront for each vehicle, beginning at 8 o'clock at night. And then at midnight, the arms go up and people can easily exit the parking structure. And there's a little bit of success there, safety, frustration, and a little bit of revenue there. Doesn't impact the daytime businesses. Anything else that I can add to that? All right, thank you so much.
Hi, Julie. Ryan, can I add a little bit to that as far as the parking? We are going to be enforcing the loading zones. We're having problems with people abusing the loading zones. In other words, they go in there either with some of the businesses, some of the customers, they go in there and park on the loading zones and just leave the cars there for a long period of times. The loading zones are designated for someone to offload, like, Uber, picking up, offloading passengers. If someone is going to be actively offloading an item or loading something into their vehicles, but once that doors are closed, the trunk is closed, then the vehicle should be moved. If not, they can be cited. And the hours for that is between the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. And I could have that backwards too, but it's around that time. They're posted. And again, if after 7 o'clock, they can stay there overnight or longer, whatever. But 6 o'clock in the morning, they have to obey by the hours. Okay.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure.
All right, consultant report. Ryan.
I think Teresa Oliveri was.
My bad. Yeah, Teresa, do you want to speak on OCTA status, please?
Sure. Hi, Good morning, everybody. So we've had a couple of meetings in the downtown with Julie and other members of city staff, as well as the contractor, to talk about, sorry, I'll turn my TV off behind me, to talk about Walsh preparing to come into the downtown. So they first put coming into the downtown on, they thought they'd be starting right after beginning of May. Obviously, we haven't started down there. They've got to finish up what they're doing at Mortimer. Then the track swings into the downtown, and then they'll start their work. So our construction meeting starts in a few minutes. I'll get the latest date, but as of the last update, it looked like they were going to start the closures in the downtown to start their work by June 10th. So I think we've circulated a postcard that has some of the detour information included in it. As we get closer to and more confirmation from Walsh as to when it is they'll come, we will be out talking individually with all of the business owners on 4th. We plan to start that after the Memorial Day weekend, just to kind of prepare everybody, let everyone understand where they plan to start. Just as a refresher, what they're allowed to do is work in 2 non-adjacent 2-block segments. So the first 2 block segments that will be closed will be Mortimer to Spurgeon and then Main to Broadway. In addition to the traffic detours, as I said before, been out there with Julie, we've looked at alternative areas for businesses to have, trucks come in to load and unload. So we've identified alternatives for that. And as other issues come up, we'll continue to work with the downtown. What we do plan to have is crowd fencing on both sides of the project area. So on both the north side where the work area ends, as well as into the sidewalk on the south side, there'll be crowd fencing to help keep hopefully pedestrians and visitors out of the project area. And that's just kind of a quick, look at what's coming up.
Thank you very much.
Has any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Teresa. Ryan, do you want to go to action items first and then do your report after?
Sure.
Okay, great. Do you want to?
Well, we did get a public comment in here, so I'll read that into the record, or I can read it into the record if that helps, because Ryan, I don't know if you can see it, but the comment is from Yenny Bernal, and it says, "I want to voice my disappointment about how I've been treated after devoting the last 7 years to the Art Walk coordination. I have a longer written comment, but YouTube is inappropriate vehicle as it limits to 200 characters. So I will be sending a letter to the board as members can read full statement."
Okay, thank you. I'll just say that, look, there's obviously been some complexities with Art Walk over the last year or so with COVID. And I would say there's maybe a difference of opinion and viewpoints and perspectives on how it's all been handled. So Yenny's obviously welcome your opinion, and we appreciate Yenny's service over the last 7 years, and love to continue to work with her if we can find a way to do that. So, welcome your letter, Yenny, and look forward to speaking to you further. With that, do you want to get into the action items, please, Ryan?
Oh, yes. Let me, I gotta jump ahead in this presentation here. So give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Ryan, are you gonna explain what these are?
Yes. So on the agenda today, there's several action items, about 4 or 5 of them. And the first 2 are actually connected, or the first 2, I'm thinking the second 2 could be considered connected. But for the first ones, I think what we're starting to see is reopening is happening very fast. Yet we still don't have a real date when we can have special events or what will be allowed and what's not allowed. And so we're in this very tight spot where we want to get stuff going as fast as possible and be there to support things happening and have a great reopening, and everyone is dying for the business. And so we know some proposals are really close to coming in that could be acted upon in the next few months, but they're larger dollar items than what we can authorize without board approval. So this first action item is to create a ad hoc events committee with 3 or 5 board members. And the purpose of this committee will look at how we could mobilize some OCTA funds. They'll look at some proposals that are coming in and see if they want to authorize funds or allow us to work with those event producers to authorize funds. And the second piece of this is to assign $15,000 of the OCTA marketing funds to the reopening events committee to work with staff to help sponsor the events coming online in the next few months as we reopen, with a maximum single sponsorship value of $5,000 awarded to any event or series. So essentially, this is unique in the sense that typically an ad hoc maybe would go away, they would deliberate and then come back, make recommendations, and the board would approve then. But because of the nature of the timing of this, we thought, okay, let's create the committee. They'll receive the applications and the funding will be approved today for them so that they can then make these approvals under these conditions or the conditions that you approve after you deliberate on these 2 items. So these 2 items I would consider together, and they're just separated for clarity, but you guys should deliberate on these now and then take your action on them.
And I think just to add real quick to Ryan's comments. Am I getting here? Hold on.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Just look at, obviously programming and events downtown is a huge driver, and frankly, COVID's been very challenging to in that sense. So I think to Ryan's point, obviously it's a very tough time to start planning events because we don't know exactly what we can do and can't do. But I think it's really critical that we have a team together that's starting to look at this and have some budget ready so that when we actually are approved, that we can start doing things right away and aren't delayed, if you will, or have a lag time. A lot of these events take several months to put on or to set up. So the last thing I want to do is we get to go ahead and call it July 1, and then we're not doing events till September or October because we're not prepared for it. So I think this is really critical committee to put together, and I think the funding is definitely necessary to help make this happen. So I'm very supportive, and I think it's a good idea. So just my 2 cents.
Supportive of it as well, except I don't think $15,000 is enough of a budget.
So I think the idea would be is that we'd start with 15,000, and then if this committee came with ideas that were beyond that budget, we would ask for requests for additional funding. Is that correct, Ryan?
Yeah, and we do know that there's at least 2 coming in that'll be around that $5,000-$6,000 range. So then there's some additional funds left over in this committee. Plus, for smaller items, we can authorize those outside of these funds, and these would only be OCTA marketing funds. So we could do other programs as well, but you could throw a few more dollars on here. What's really become clear in the last few weeks and especially the last few days is that the budget is going to be returning, and so we can be a lot more confident in our spending, and we want to be there at this time. So I think if you wanted to increase this slightly, that wouldn't be off the table either.
Any other questions or feedback?
Yeah, could you give us kind of a sample timeline, like once the committee's formed, would they start meeting right away, and what's kind of expected time-wise of the committee?
Sure. So we could meet once or possibly twice. The proposals that are coming in, one is for a 6-week music series all across downtown, activations with trusted event producers. Another is an event that you guys we've already supported, and they're going to be coming back for support and growing their event. And we can solicit. I'll do the work of soliciting more events, or if you hear of anything. But we'll just look at the proposals that first meeting. You'll advise me on if we should fund things and at what percentage, and then we would execute from there. If we, for some reason, had to deliberate much further, we could have a second meeting, but I think we could get it done in one.
Thank you, Ryan. Any further questions?
So we do need 3 to 5 of you to step forward to be part of it. And Ryan, I'd recommend you be one of them because
right here. I'm in.
Jump in.
I'm in. You can count me in.
Thank you. That's 4 right there, Ryan. You got.
Okay, I saw Yvonne, Bill,
Eddie.
well, Eddie's putting one of the proposals before the committee, so he shouldn't be on the committee.
I'll be on the committee. Two events.
So I have Ryan C, Yvonne, Bill. Are we going to go with 3, or I have room for 2 more otherwise? Or we can.
I'll be on it. This is Lampsey.
Is that Gene?
No, Lampsey.
Oh, Lampson. Okay.
Thank you.
One more would be great, just because you're never supposed to have even numbers, but if not, we'll go with it.
Okay. We can always start with 4, and if someone wants to add or email later and join, that's no problem.
Okay, feel free to join.
Okay, so I guess the question becomes we have to have an action item. So, is the board in favor of this new events committee as well as assigning $15,000 OCCA money to this committee? Do I have any feedback before I have a first or second?
Motion, yes. To move.
Who is that?
I motion.
That's Eddie. I need a second.
Yeah.
A second.
Nestor seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I think motion pass. Again, I can't see everybody, but I think motion passes. Thank you all. All right, Ryan, do you want to? Okay, so just action item is we've received a resignation letter from John Gothold. John recently sold his property downtown. Is moving on with his life to some degree. He's very, very supportive, invested board member, and has been around and along for a long time, and isn't going anywhere per se, but he felt like it was probably a good time to step away and let someone else come in. So, Ryan, do you want to just give us a little spiel on that, and then on Denise?
Sure. So yeah, John Gothold, great board member, over 20 years history downtown, and just always smiling, and brought great energy and ideas and creativity to the organization and downtown. And we've heard his building was sold, which is the old City Hall building, very important building, to a very nice couple who are a law firm couple. And so we'll be reaching out to bring them into the fold and the family as well. And so we just wanted to put this on the agenda item so that it's in the record, of when a board member leaves for their service time. And the other part of this is, you guys might recall that last meeting, we received the termination of Tish's service, Tish Leon, who'd been with us for a very long time as well. And Tish had been also the Downtown Neighborhood Association president. And so her handpicked successor is Denise Reynoso, who we've had a lot of great interaction with lately. And I think you all met last time. And so we wanted to invite Denise to take Tish's seat on the board. And we can hear from Denise here for a moment.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you again. My name is Denise. So yes, I took over the Downtown Neighborhood Association, and I've just been trying to bring a lot of fun events in the area. We're setting up for a stuffed bear giveaway with SAPD on June 1st, and just a bunch of different stuff. Ryan helped me with the community garden, and just bringing activities to the residents here in downtown, and just trying to bring the community together is what my goal is.
Thank you.
So,
does anyone have any questions for Denise? So Ryan, from a procedural standpoint with voting here, how does this work? I mean, do we do a online vote later? Do we ask?
I can kick her out of the meeting, the room, and you guys can do your vote if you want.
I think it's just appropriate. I mean, I don't, just for.
So Denise, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll have you exit if you can, and then we're gonna take the vote here, and you can continue to watch on YouTube, of course.
Okay, sounds
good.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
So real quick, just again from I don't know Denise well, but I've heard about her through the grapevine and through Ryan and some others, and through Tish, and comes very highly regarded. Again, president of the Downtown Association for residents, and I think she'd be a great asset to the board. So just my 2 cents. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add or knows her personally, but. Anyone have any other feedback?
I just wanted to see if I can get her contact information so I can orient her with the council sponsorship donations, that process. She's
Great.
going to be the one to sign off on those.
Okay, great. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I think it's good that we're getting more young people involved. It's their future that they're looking at, and we should get more and more of them involved.
Absolutely. Any other feedback? Okay, with that, if we can have a vote, then all in favor to bring on Denise, can I get a first, please?
A first.
A second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or no's? Okay, great. Well, I think again, Denise will be a great board member to add and bring a great perspective from being based in downtown, and like Nestor said, being a little younger is also a positive. Okay, with that, we have one other action item to do. It's executive roles. Ryan, do you want to touch on that, please?
Yeah, sorry, I'm bouncing around here a little today. Okay, so let's share the screen here. Okay, so with all of these changes that have occurred on our board, our filed paperwork with the state of California, we have you have to have 3 board officers on your nonprofit, and so 2 of them have now left, and we need to replace them. And so that we could either have a vice president, a treasurer, and or a secretary. And as the roles are fairly limited, the vice president, if the president is absent, you will lead the meeting. The treasurer will look at the financial docs with Jose and I before the meeting, and the secretary would help make sure our docs are certified as well, which will staff will take care of and send to you. So we'd really love to get 2 of you guys in 2 of those roles today.
What's the process, Ryan? Do we just
nominate yourself or someone, and then we'll approve you?
Okay.
And I guess depending on the numbers, we have to do an online vote, Ryan. If there's more people, then how would you recommend doing that?
Well, is anyone interested in serving?
Yes, that's the question. Volunteers.
Yeah, I'm interested in volunteering for the vice president role.
I'll volunteer for the secretary position.
Thank you. I think we just need a treasurer volunteer. And again, to be clear, guys, Jose runs the financials, so it's really a rubber stamp. Just again, maybe a meeting once in a blue moon, but this is not a huge role, frankly.
I'll be treasurer.
Thank you, Nestor. Appreciate it.
Very good.
Unless anyone else has an interest in those roles, I guess we can just vote on those 3. They're volunteers and I think great candidates, and obviously more than qualified, and would appreciate it. Okay, with that, I guess we have to vote on each one individually. So Ryan, do you want to just lead no, we don't all together?
You can do a slate if you want.
Okay, we'll do a slate. Okay, so it's going to be Nestor for treasurer, Yvonne for secretary, and Eddie for vice president. Do I have a first?
I'll first.
Do we have a second?
I'll second since I'm not involved.
Thank you, Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. I appreciate all you helping with the exec board. Again, it won't be too much of your time, but we think just to have it a little more professionalized here for the future would be positive. So thank you for that. Okay, with that, I'm going to go back to Ryan for the president report, and hopefully we can get you out of here a little early today. So thank you, Ryan. Okay.
I'll go quick through the consultant report. So as Ryan said, we just submitted actually our January through March OCTA marketing report with all the activities that were done with the funding in that period. And I just wanted to highlight the great work of Open Stage by Brianna Harley. They've had so much diversity on the promenade this last quarter with Black History Month. She had a whole showcase of African-American artists. We actually had a tribal land opening ceremony with the women's festival that occurred with Priscilla. So we've just seen so many different things. Kilson Street, she just partnered with at the last for the last occurrence. So it's just really hitting a great stride. We had a lot of fun giving Tish our key to the city last month and starting that program. And also Jean's fabulous banners went up all over downtown. If you haven't, you must have seen them. They look phenomenal. And then we've continued a lot of activation in the promenade. So there's actually a comedy night that's really taken off and has moved to congregation area now because the babbling of our beautiful fountain actually seems to throw comedians off their timing. And where they were previously located. And then the yoga has been a huge success, the free Saturday yoga. And we're actually going to be parlaying that next into badminton tournaments. So there's going to be badminton sets set up out there next with Joaquin over at Elite Fitness. And then we did have some things cancel over this period as well because of the stay-at-home order and just the events fiascos that, you know, of early February and stuff like that, where things were really shut down. So so that was a bummer to see some things canceled, but things are looking up and some new opportunities have come and landed on our shoulder. And something that came about is this really exciting project that came from the governor's office, and they are installing 15 art pieces across the state for on June 15th in honor of the state reopening. And Santa Ana was selected as one of the communities that would be getting one of these art pieces. And in working with the artists, Madeline actually expanded the thinking and the ideas quite a bit. And they're actually going to be projecting butterflies. The theme of this artwork is butterflies and masks, and the masks are masks turning into butterflies. And so they're going to be there's going to be an installation which will move it to 2 different locations downtown. There's going to be projections happening on this building potentially. And then the community has been turning their masks into butterflies as well as part of this display. And these butterfly masks also will go to all of the lending libraries that Madeline distributed throughout each neighborhood throughout the city. So there's gonna be this explosion of masks turning into butterflies. And it's called the Butterfly Project. And we've actually set up our own butterfly factory every Sunday from, I think, around the beginning of May to the middle of June. We're operating it. And so out in front of 4th Street Market, people are basically getting masked and they're turning them into butterflies. They're connecting them with their family on strings, or making sort of remarks about how they love Santa Ana, or they're excited to be coming out of COVID. And so our goal with this is that on June 15th, that, you know, we release butterflies, we have the electeds there, we have the community there with their masks, and we get some great press of DTSA really representing the reopening of California, and really sending out that message that we've also transformed during this time at this outdoor dining and many new businesses, and really just booming out with this super positive story. So we're working towards this. Julie, me, you, and hopefully Paul Eakins can sit down and talk about this and go through that, because I think it's a huge opportunity, and it's really coming together nicely. We also did, as part of Earth Week and Placemaking Earth, a co-design with nature grant, where we encouraged local artists and community members to take on little projects that beautified the neighborhood with plants and things like that. It was really cool because there was a whole framework set up where local artists and residents, they got to participate in several webinars and learn from people all over the world about different projects, as well as explain their projects to people all over the world and get feedback. So one of the projects, you know, we met Denise a little earlier. She lives in a condo building just on the west side of downtown, where they have 300 plus units. And this was a dead space right in the middle. And she actually worked with the neighbors to plant some beds, put up one of the Boca de Oro libraries, plant some trees, and repurpose some pallets into a grow wall. And so now they're going to host a story time here, and it's becoming a neighborhood spot. We also delivered pizzas to the work crew from Pizza Press. From Mimi herself went and met all the neighbors and gave coupons as well. So it's a huge connectivity piece with that neighborhood. This was incredible. Priscilla, who we had done the Women's Day Festival for the last 10 years or so, and everyone knows her as the girl on roller skates. And she submitted this idea to build this ladder garden, hanging gardens, and built it. And it's tremendously creative and remarkable. And she's partnering with different restaurants to host it for different periods of time. Another artist, Stephen Homestead, planted a little butterfly feeder garden in the artist village, and with different QR codes and engagement pieces. Mix redid their bar and did a hanging garden like their Costa Mesa store. So this was we experimented with an interior one as well. And so that was a really, really fun experimental project that got a lot of different people buzzing and doing things and connecting and creating things as well. So we're really excited about that.
Thank you, Ryan. Is that everything?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so I think that's the gist of it. I don't really have anything from a president report other than what I mentioned before, just about please, advocate for downtown clean and safe. I think that's the key right now, and really a priority for the the downtown and for our board. And again, I appreciate everyone's time and
Ryan.
Here. Yes.
Right. Hey, you know what? I wanted to speak a little bit about I sent Ryan a couple of days ago the deck for the sponsorship deck for Tamal Festival and for the Pozole Festival. And I know that you just created a committee. However, that committee doesn't meet till August. Unfortunately, I brought it up because I wanted to speak about sponsorship levels today.
Let's stop. So he's in president's report. You can announce this under new business. It's the next item. But the committee will meet before August. The committee will meet in the next few weeks to authorize event proposals. The challenge is, this meeting has to be prepared for over 3 days before it starts because of the Brown Act. So we have to have all our agenda and everything set 3 days before. So we didn't receive a proposal till after that period. So it can't be discussed at this meeting, but we are setting up that committee so that we can review all the proposals that are coming in right now in the next few weeks so that proposals can be authorized. So that's how that's all set up.
And the proposals, do you have to have them 3 days in advance as well for that committee to do the Brown Act, or no, because it's not a board meeting?
Committees, I believe, only need 24-hour notice, but staff will work with you we'll work with anyone who sends a proposal to prepare it for committee. So we like to do everything much more in advance than the date limit of when notice has to go out. Notice is just when the public has to be informed of meetings. So everything should be done before that. But I mean, business should be done even earlier than that. So what you're addressing right now would go under new business, which is the next business item. And then the committee would probably hear your proposal. The committee will hear your proposals when it meets.
Okay.
So I think the point is we need to get the committee together as soon as possible is the kind of the gist of it.
Correct.
So
yeah.
Brian, could you do me a favor, and after this meeting, send an email to the new committee, and we can try to find the time to get together maybe next week or so to get this all sorted out. I think it's the gist of it, correct?
Yeah, important. Yes. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Eddie. Does anyone else have anything else? I don't really have much to add unless there's any other new business to talk about. Okay, with that, again, thank you everyone for your time today. Please call your council.
I just wanted to add, just because Art Walk came up, there the public comment from Yenny about Art Walk. So it was requested of me to go before the Arts Commission last month, or I believe in April. And I gave a lengthy presentation about Downtown Inc.'s, production of the Art Walk and everything that we know about it from our involvement from the last, or from my involvement of it from the last 7 years. And then that video was emailed out. I hope you guys saw it, but also to all of our arts contacts as well. And then Ryan, Chase, Jean Jimenez, Yvonne Flores, Julie and I, Tramley, Mark Morley, and maybe, I think that was it. We met also together just to talk about, you know, our openness and our excitement towards the arts, and working together and collaborating and creating a very, maintaining a very important and good relationship between all of the great things happening in arts and in culture and in community downtown. And that's really our position, in that we're very excited to be reopening and re-embracing everything that we've done with the community and in the past. So
Thank you, Ryan, for that. Anything else before we sign off here, everybody? Well, again, thanks everyone for your time today. Appreciate it. Please heckle and bother your council members and let them know we need some help downtown. With that, have a great day, great week, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks again, everybody.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.